Hello, I'm Father George Salzman. We're in the farther part of Harvard Yard, Centenary Theater, where commencement happens. And it's apt that we're here because if you think of what a college education does, it's exposure to all the best things that have been thought, and then our engagement with them. And aptly summing that up is Widener Library. Behind me, the 3.5 million books in there, and then the 3 million in storage, and then all together in the different libraries here at Harvard, about 20 million. And it stands for all that we have yet to learn. All that we have yet to learn. You know, the quickest way to take a measure of somebody is by their library. You go through. It's an interesting question about depth. It's also a great question about breadth. And of course, it's also good to remember, much like life itself, that most of the stuff there is hidden. It's below ground. It's yet to be explored. And so at the beginning of college, and so at the beginning of any year of life, we have to sort of examine our conscience, draw a line, and start afresh and start anew. To explore the world and to explore life. How important that. I wanted to mention St. Thomas Aquinas as a marvelous example for all of us. A great systematizer, a great explorer, but above all, a person of unique courage in this way, that Aristotle came into the West in different phases, but the third and biggest dollop, was in the middle of the 13th century. And for those who call the 13th the greatest of centuries, you could argue it has its truth because, when he came in the full corpus from the Arabs with all sorts of learning about life and society and the human person. And that was then had a chance to encounter the Christian message and ask of the Christian message new questions so people could reflect in new ways. Many people flee encounter, many people despise dialogue. Thomas Aquinas did not. And so he went forth to meet that. And much like his mentor, Saint Albert the Great, who was such a master of the sciences. Look up at the number of folio volumes he had of exploration and encounter with the world. So Thomas went in exploration. It's captured very well. If you look at the Summa Theologica, you might think it's something staid, but then you look at it, and what's the great feature that's missing from so much of today's discussion? That what he does when he explores a topic is first frame everyone's counter arguments so he hears them first. One of the great principles for a healthy life is always hear the other side. One of the healthy principles of having a good company or group or whatever is always make sure you hear the other side before you just latch onto something. We're always doing it in marriage prep. You have a partner. Have you met more than two people? Why don't you try 13 or 15 or 200? And so the matter of hearing other ideas and being in dialogue with them. And that was in so many ways the hallmark of Thomas Aquinas, who found this new way to sort of exfoliate and enlarge the whole Christian message into this great flowering. That is the 13th century. He was aptly posted for that. He was born in 1225, died in 1274, so he spanned the very middle of the 13th century. I always think he was someone out of a Western. He was born in Rocca Secca. He died at Fossa Novo, so he was born in Dry Rock, and he died at New Gulch. It sounds like somebody from a Western that we used to have in the 50s on American TV. But he had the courage surpassing all those, as I suggest, by not being afraid of dialogue or hearing the other side, but going forward to be trained and made more learned by that very encounter and discussion and what was given him to work with. Let's give thanks for him in our lives and adapt that same attitude, sometimes all too missing. May God bless you.